Hey, good job with your speech, Ken. That was rocking.
That's so cool.
Tonight.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Like,
Yeah,
good.
Wonderful.
It's a long coats. They had to leave because the long coats.
Y'all, this is one of the smartest guy in San Marcos. Say hello to Twitter, Griff.
Hello, Twitter.
All right.
And I
The RE's LLC for zone change from P Public District to PDD Plan Development District with the base building and MU mixed use on Block 4, Lindsey and Harvey Edition.
This item calls for a public hearing, and we will start with a presentation on this.
The city is a living organism. It's either growing or dying. There's no such thing as status quo. So I'm not against change. But I will tell you that in 2011, I was one of those people living in North Austin in a high-density area, and I saw a lot of really pretty pictures like that. And I saw a lot of really wonderful traffic studies telling me how safe and secure my neighborhood.
San Marcos, Texas, I am so proud of y'all showing up Tuesday night, standing up to that developer. Now, I've got a couple of things I want to talk about. Number one, Mr. Patterson, you're not fooling anybody with your sham about the state buying that. We all know it. That was a poor acting job on your part. And guess what? I can give you the name of my acting teacher. She teaches commercial acting classes. That may help you with developers. Mr. DuPont, we all know your wife was calling everybody in town asking them to vote for this. In the future, you might want to refrain from that kind of activity. Now, I'm disappointed in Commissioner Ramirez. I want to tell y'all, this is my historic house. Yeah, it's probably not as neat and tidy as Mr. Baker, who rocks my world. It's LMC's historic house, and I'm rebuilding it. And quite frankly, I've refrained from posting any photos of my renovation job out of respect to my neighbors who got flooded out as a result of development. I'm shocked that someone who lives in a flood zone also like I do is not, her heart is not open to our arguments about flooding. And the fact that the developer, y'all, he wants to create, listen to this, he wants his sidewalks built up. Do you know what that means? That's another berm, people, and we know that there are places downtown Hopkins that flooded, so these flooding arguments are not alarmist. It's the very week we're talking about, right, y'all, how to prevent flooding. And I think there's two different ways we can do it. I've come up with an idea. Number one, we can stop developing in a flood zone. It's the easiest one. Or number two, we can cast magic spells. Now, I know there are probably some people around here who could do that for us, but number one would probably be the most pragmatic way to approach it. So in the future, the P&Z commissioners, please listen to our pleas about flooding, y'all, because they're realistic concerns. Now, this condominium stuff you guys talking about, we need to axe that off the table. Y'all need to quit going for the lowest common denominator. That will also cause the air quality problems that people brought up with the excavation, the traffic, the carbon monoxide. All of those arguments still hold true, as well as the flooding. So we need to turn that into a park. Swap out the land with something else if the developer wants to go somewhere else and turn that into a park, y'all. This is the historic district, and I'm quite frankly am shocked I didn't see Patrick Rose up there. You live on Belvin, and that man, who was it, DuPont, was talking about walking with his kids. Do you want your kids and your mom inhaling that excavation dust? I don't think so, sir. So that was a horribly poorly crafted narrative that you employed. All right, San Marcos, thanks for standing up. You got to keep involved. And Laguna Ita sucks, y'all.
So private development, as a private developer would.
But I thought what he was really asking you is if it goes through with the PDD being denied.
Then it can still be developed under public. So anything that, because it's zoned public.
Right.
So anything that's allowed within the existing public zoning classification would be allowed.
And that would be a concern of mine. I'm not concerned, my just a question. That when in public, I've looked into public things, and I'm sure y'all got it going on that stuff, but you know, with the public, there is a difference in parking and so forth. That's
Can y'all hear that kid playing with those poppy bubbles? Right? Can y'all hear it? Look at that flag, y'all. It says, "Don't tread on me." I want to say to I don't know the commissioners' names. I never go to the P&Z. The one lady in the cool salmon shirt, that was an awesome color for camera. That's what Donise Hardy would have recommended, and you looked awesome. And it was really cool running into you. I had Madonna blaring and I was taking selfies. I thought you were a member of the public. You're awesome. Mr. Kelsey, is it Travis Kelsey? I'm still learning y'all's names. You're the MVP, sir, for putting that on the agenda. On the table for them to strike it off or however you did it. And Saul Gonzalez, you were so compassionate with your advocacy. That was so heartfelt, the way that you expressed that, just in the way that you said it in your words. And of course, Douglas, your narrative about the pudding was wonderful. And I really want to say, Mr. Beckett, thank you for bringing up Capes Camp and your advocacy. You completely validated our concerns about the flooding, and you also allowed the public to have a recall moment, a total recall moment, that when we do irresponsible developments, we do create berms, which ruin people's lives. All right, San Marcos, thanks again for standing up, y'all. See y'all at the flood outreach on Saturday. It's important for y'all to show up. I hear they're going to have little clicky things, and I'm going to go online right now and see what's going on.